What is up, God Gamers? In today's video, we're going to be doing a tier list for the best legends on patch 13.13b. And boy, did we get out of that Draven patch pretty quick, right? There was not much to talk about on that last patch, but now there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And before we get into it, real quick, I just want to say I am one man. So I will be ignorant to a lot of the changes to the other legends because I've been playing a lot of Ezreal. Ezreal seems to be one of the best legends. I've been playing a lot of them, so when I give my opinion on some of the other legends, it'll be from the point of view of what I think about them, right? I haven't tried and tested all of these, so this is just my professional opinion. And something that goes into making tier lists like this is it really matters in TFT what other people are doing. So like if a lot of people are playing TF or a lot of people are playing Ezreal, that can devalue some of the other legends. But if the meta kind of shifts and other people start trying out other legends, then that can change the power. So I'm making this from the perspective of Ezreal being pretty much the best legend right now, in my opinion. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. And the first one we're going to talk about is our boy Ezreal. And Ezreal is going to go clear into the S tier. And the reason why, I'm not going to go too deep into each of these because I actually just made an Ezreal guide specifically. So you guys can check out the Ezreal guide on my channel and help you guys climb. I climbed 300 LP in one afternoon. I did. That is true. Yeah, and so the reason why Ezreal is so highly prized right now is just because they gave him a really big buff and they nerfed Ornn and TF. I'm going to be doing Ornn and TF with Ezreal first because they kind of have a three-way tango. They kind of have a three-way tango because they all grant items. And so the guys that grant items, they're going to have this like balanced tango the entire set. And one being strong will devalue the other. And so Ezreal is so strong because they added this gold onto his augments. And I think playing duo carries is so strong in the meta right now. For example, you play like Akshan with Aphelios, Akshan with Azir, or you play like Azir Lux, or you play Kai'Sa Yasuo. And just having extra items to play multiple carries is a lot more valuable, in my opinion, than having best in slot items on one carry in most builds. So that's why Ezreal is so strong. And then the additional gold, just like there's so much gold injection, can help you go fast, all the good stuff. But I'll save that for our actual guide video. You guys can check that out, be in the end card today. So yeah, he's going in the S tier right here. And then our boy Ornn is going to be up next. And I'm going to put Ornn in the A tier. Ornn did receive some nerfs to his latent forge. You now get it around later. And nerf to some of the best items like Eternal Winter. Actually, I think it was somewhat power neutral, but was a slight nerf, the Eternal Winter, and then big nerf to Sniper's Focus, but a buff to Anima Visage. So the variance is actually a little bit better, but the peaks are not as high with his items. And I think Ornn could actually be S tier. I just think he is just not as good as Ezreal. And as I said before, if Ezreal is strong, it devalues Ornn a little bit, I think. So Ornn is going to go in the A tier here. And then our boy TF, not our boy TF. We don't like TF. I hate TF, guys. Like, there's nothing more boring to me than guaranteeing your items. Like, that is the most boring play pattern I can think of. It's just really boring to me personally. And TF is going to go all the way down into the D tier. Now, I think if there's a D-gen build that gets discovered where you don't need combat augments and you just need best in slot and it's just an overpowered build, then TF can go all the way back up into the S tier or the A tier. But for now, since that is not a viable play pattern that I have discovered or I've seen yet, he is going to go down into the D tier because why play TF when you can play Ornn and Ezreal? Why guarantee best items? Try to guarantee best in slot items when you can just get double the amount of items in Ornn items. Like, why would you do that? So that's why he's going to go there. And I don't think I really need to explain that much more here. All right, let's talk about ASOL. And ASOL, I'm super ignorant to. I've never played a single game of ASOL, but ASOL's received a lot of buffs. And I think a lot of these legends are actually playable, except for the fact that so many people are playing Ezreal, which kind of changes the way the game is played a little bit. And so a lot of these guys, I'm going to be putting them into the C and B tier. Now, I just haven't really seen anybody having success with ASOL. And they did give buffs to a couple of his augments. I believe they buffed this one, I believe, knowledge download, and they buffed it pays to learn, I believe. But I still think Tahm Kench is just a slight better version of ASOL, in my opinion. So that's why he's going to go here. Maybe that's different because they did just nerf some of Tahm Kench's augments on the B patch. But for now, ASOL's going to go here. And now let's go on to our Sir Thomas Kench. And since I just said I'm going to rate ASOL lower, I'm going to rate Tahm Kench at a B tier. I do think he's playable. I think all of these legends are playable except for TF, personally. unless that degen build gets discovered, of course. Let's take a look at Bard here, or not Bard here, Thomas Kinch. He goes in the B tier already. It's because he has AFK. This is one of the best augments in the game. If you get offered silver, it's so broken. If you guys know how to make super strong boards and you have like a legendary board in mind, or you feel really comfortable forcing a board, then taking something like Hedge Fund can be very good for you. Balanced budget just got nerfed, so maybe you don't want to take this, but if you're really comfortable going fast 9, playing full legendary board, no combat augments, I think that can be a viable play pattern. Even on the Draven patch, I found that you didn't even have to play for 3-star 4 cost. If you just took these and went full legendary board, was just as effective as going for the 3-star 4 cost. You know, you can't cap out as high. And then money did get nerfed, but I do think going fast 9 is a viable play pattern on this patch, and you can definitely do it. You're going to lose a lot of HP with all the Ezreal players, but if you make a lot of gold, I think you can make it happen. So we're going to be putting him into the B tier here. All right, next up is going to be, let's talk about Caitlyn. I am not a big fan of Caitlyn. I know some of you guys like Caitlyn. I think Caitlyn is really good in low EO. Let's take a look at her augments. I think Caitlyn is really good in low EO because you can just like win early game really hard for free. But once you get into higher EOs, like it doesn't win as hard, and you get punished so hard once everybody else starts upgrading board, because you're down a prismatic once people start getting their 4 costs going and that sort of thing. So I think you gotta really win hard early, and sometimes you just can't. Like sometimes it's a prismatic, so sometimes people are taking Cruel Pact, people are taking Cursed Crown, people are taking some really strong early game stuff. And I just don't think it's that strong. I think Stars is Born can be good if you want to reroll, but I think a lot of the 4 cost builds are really strong right now. So I just don't think rerolling is as viable unless you're rerolling 3 costs. I think 3 costs are just a little bit better than than some of the 1 and 2 cost reroll builds. It's ever Jinx. I think Jinx is actually pretty decent. And then Knowledge Download, this is the same one I think they buffed as well. But in Rolling for Days just got nerfed. I am just not a big fan of Caitlyn. So I'm going to put her down in the C tier. I think she's playable, and I think in lower EOs, you can just get a lot of free top 4s just from your early game strength. But that's about it there. All right, next let's talk about our boy Bard. And Bard got a lot of buffs, and I would love to try out Bard. The problem is I can't play Bard right now because if you don't take Ezreal, and I just love playing Ezreal. If you don't take Ezreal and you get Glass Industries Realm, it's really hard to really play any other legend. And a lot of people are playing Ezreal at the time we make this video. So if that's offered as a realm, everyone's going to stand on it, and it's very likely you will be unable to play the game. And so it's just really hard to play Bard because of Ezreal, but I could see that change. I could see people dropping Ezreal, and he got a lot of nice buffs. So Caretaker's Chosen, you now get stuff on level 8, because before you got it on level 9, and it just rendered Bard completely useless on this tier. And so you can get a lot of items, so gain a component anvil, so you get to choose your items. I don't know, man. It just seems like a poor man's Ezreal. Is what Bard feels like to me with Caretaker's Favor. Caretaker's Ally could be pretty good if you're comfortable playing a lot of 3 costs. I think there's a lot of 3 cost builds that are meta right now, like Multicaster, like Noxus, Akshan, Callista even. I think there's a lot of viable 3 cost builds. So I think Bard is actually decent. I just think he gets devalued by Ezreal. He has that same problem. And we do have Medium Forge. This is nice. I do like Medium Forge. And Seeing Double is a new augment. I really haven't gotten to test this a lot, so I don't have a very strong opinion on it. But to gain 2 completed items made from 2 of the same component, 3 gold. I really don't have a strong opinion on that. Haven't gotten to test it yet. But Bard is going to go squarely into the B tier. I actually think he's pretty solid. He's just a poor man's Ezreal at the time we make this video. But I could see if people start to drop Ezreal, we could see our boy Bard find a place much higher in the meta, I believe. Okay, next up, let's talk about Veigar. And Veigar got some nice quality of life buffs. They buffed Tiny Power, and they buffed the crit one. They buffed the crit tier 1, Jeweled Lotus. It's a little bit stronger. Now, I thought he was going to be a little bit stronger, but at the time we make this video, it's not a very, like, Invokers aren't meta. Sorks are meta, but it's just like, it's weird. I think if you like playing Sorks and you like playing AP, you like playing around that, and you feel really comfortable playing AP, I think Veigar can be B or A tier. But I'm struggling to put him at the B tier. But you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because I do think if you want to like force around Sorks and AP, I think you can totally do it. The problem is Invokers aren't as strong as I'd hope they would be. And if Invokers were stronger, then I'd feel a lot more comfortable about this B tier. But I'm gonna leave him in B tier for now because I do think he's better than these 2 right here. If you're going to play that style, I think he can be better. Let's talk about Pingu. Pingu? Let's take a gander at Pingu's augments. I think Pingu is solid. I think he just retains a very solid place in the meta. I really do like Tiniest Titan. I talked mad shit about it right when on release, but I do actually think this is pretty solid here. Metabolic Accelerator is fine, especially with a lot of people playing really aggressive, playing Ezreal, that sort of thing. I think you can get away with taking this one. Tiny Titans I do not think is great because people are going to be playing aggressive with the Ezreal, with some of the other legends, and you're just not going to get your components anyways. You have too much health. So that's a problem there. But I think these two tiers are pretty good in the current meta. I think item grab bag can be fine, especially you're competing with the extra items that people are going to have, like having Ezreal. So you can really sack, get some good, get some completed items, and then that give you some direction. That can be a viable play pattern. And then final grab bag can be fine as well. A lot of gold injection, a lot of stuff going on here. So I think Pingu is actually fine, and especially good if you are struggling. If you're struggling to find your way in this meta and you just want like games to feel a little bit safer while you're trying to figure this out, I actually think Pingu is pretty solid and can be good in the right hands, even in high UO. I think it can be good, but again, just Ezreal is a little too good right now, or people are playing him too much. Okay, let's talk about our boy Draven. So Draven, as you guys have seen, he has a problem that Draven is more powerful the more people are playing Draven. And there's just not a lot of people playing Draven. Everyone's playing Ezreal, and people who aren't playing Ezreal aren't playing Draven. I think Draven, his actual strength on his own is probably at a B tier, but the fact that not a lot of people are playing him puts him down at the C tier after his nerfs. But if you guys like playing Draven, I think he can be played. And I think when you're in a winning position, if you have a strong early game, you can take Draven, and he's really strong. The problem with taking Draven is if you don't always get presented with a strong early game. So if you don't get presented with a strong early game, it's really hard to take Draven's augment because other people are going to be playing Ezreal, Ornn, Earth Guy, that sort of thing. A lot of people are going to be playing that stuff, and they're just going to be a lot stronger than you. And so you're down an augment choice every game that you don't high roll your early game. So that's the problem I have with Draven. And his second and third augments just aren't as good anymore because they nerfed them pretty good. So that's the problem with Draven. I think if less people play Ezreal and less people are aggressive, you'll have more opportunity to play Draven. But if you guys really like playing Draven, maybe give him a try. You just can't take his augment if you're not high rolling. And I think if you're in low elo, you can take Draven. Or if you're smurfing, then you can totally take Draven and he can be good there. Okay, let's talk about Lee Sin. Lee Sin, he's the one with on a roll, right? I don't play a lot of Lee Sin. I don't think Lee Sin is good. I talked about this in my last tier list video. I've talked about this a lot. Lee Sin has a huge problem that his augments don't synergize. Like, you know, you look at Ezreal, he just has the same 3 augments, right? You look at Caitlyn, all of her augments are designed to win early game, right? She has a clear identity. Draven has a clear identity. Lee Sin has a problem because they added Trade Sector and On a Roll in Shopping Spree. Like, these just don't match with each other. Trade Sector is not a reroll augment. As much as people might think it is not. It is a tempo augment. I'm not going to explain it again in this video why it's not. I've explained it so many times, but briefly, it's because when you reroll, you usually are going to be weak, especially if you're rerolling 1 and 2 costs. You're going to be weak, and so you want to make econ. The problem with Trade Sector is you are rolling every turn, and so if you're not pushing levels, you're not going to be strong, but you're going to be hitting 2 stars. So you're going to be mix streaking win loss, and you're holding a bunch of nonsense on your bench because you're hitting, like, you're rolling Tristana, right? And you're hitting some Tristanas on your bench. Now you're going to hit your Tristana 3 maybe a little bit earlier, but you would have hit it anyways without taking Trade Sector, and you're down a gold augment, and you lost a bunch of econ. So it's not very good. That's a problem. Is like honor roll is really great for rerolling, and Trade Sector is for tempo, and then Shopping Spree. I've literally never even seen a person take this. So you gain 1 gold per round when you level up. Gain a free number of shop refreshes. Yeah, this is a tempo augment. So tempo reroll. It just doesn't make any sense. And they just nerfed this one. I think this one can be fine. I take this one often actually. Or no, I don't take this one. I take the other version of this where you get one duplicator and you get a delayed one. I think this one can be totally fine in this meta because I do think building mid-game boards is pretty strong, especially with a lot of people playing aggressive on stage 2. A lot of people trying to go fast 8. I think you can punish a lot of people by making a mid-game board. And then money just got buffed, then reactively nerfed. So I don't like Lee Sin. I don't think he's good, and he's going to go straight down into the D tier. You go there where you belong, boy. I do love Lee Sin as a character, but he's struggling. All right, Vlad, I'm gonna keep it simple. He didn't get a lot of changes. He got battle ready. Does he have battle ready? He has battle ready, right? Battle ready got buffed. him and the other dude both have Battle Ready. Yeah, Battle Ready received a small buff. I think Vlad was already pretty good, and I will put him at the B tier right now. He's definitely playable at the B tier. Pretty good. I think he's fine. Let's go ahead and do Master Yi. This is going to be a rapid fire, pretty quick and easy. Master Yi is also going to go at the B tier. He's not in the A tier, even if he's looks like he's in the A tier right here. He is in the B tier. Same thing. He got a small buff. I think pumping up is a good augment. I think there's a lot of attack speed carries like Kaisa, Yasuo, Aphelios. Even Zeri is playable because she's pretty uncontested, so you can guarantee hit her board. Azir, you know, I think he's pretty solid, and I take his augment sometimes, like Battle Ready or not Battle Ready, pumping up when it gets offered to me. Even though I don't play Master Yi, I'll take it sometimes. You know, sometimes I don't take the Ezreal augment if I'm not in a great spot. So yeah, he's gonna go right into the B tier, and I think it could be a little bit higher if people stop playing Ezreal. All right, next up, let's talk about Poro. And Poro, our boy Poro is always going to go into the A or S tier. And the only reason why he's not going in the S tier is because Ezreal. Too many people are playing Ezreal, and I just think Ezreal always offers you a good augment on the first one. And especially because Glass Industries is a thing, and a lot of people are playing Ezreal. People are going to stand on that realm. I just think it's just not as good as Ezreal. But Poro's great. All right, let's talk about our boy Urf. And Urf, I think, could be S tier. I totally think Urf could be S tier because they buffed Urf. They buffed up Urf where you get more gold on his augments. Let's look at Urf. Let's look at Urf. They give you more gold on his augments, so Turbo traits, Soma traits, big grab bag, and they buffed this as well. He has the same mid-game Ezreal augment. And then final grab bag if you want to take it, but you don't have to take that one. If you get a spatula right here and a champion duplicator, I think 3-cost rerolls are pretty good. And I think Urf guy is really good for 3-cost rerolls, like getting Noxus emblems, getting Rogue emblems, getting Challenger emblems, you know, getting Shurima emblems. I think all those builds are fine in the meta. And you know what? I was going to put him in A tier, but our boy's going in the S tier. I think he's totally playable if you like forcing or you like flexing around like 2 and 3-cost reroll builds, like the builds I just talked about there. I think that's totally a viable strat. And you could play like vertical Shurimas as well. Like you could play vertical Ionias. Vertical Ionia just got buffed. Like I think it can be very good. So anyways, guys, this is my tier list. What do you guys think? And again, I am not God. I am not the arbiter. And I have not played every single legend. I've been playing a lot of Ezreal. This is just my professional opinion on where I think these guys kind of lie in the meta. And again, this can shift wildly. This is a 3-week patch. This could shift wildly. If people stop playing Ezreal, the power levels of a lot of these other things change, right? So if people stop playing Ezreal, Ornn becomes stronger. People stop playing Ezreal, TF becomes slightly stronger. If a degen build gets discovered where you hard force it every game, you don't need combat augments, TF is going to be a lot stronger, right? You know, if people start discovering that AP is pretty solid and there becomes like a really strong AP board, Veigar becomes a lot stronger. People stop playing Ezreal, Bard becomes a lot stronger, right? If people are fast 90 like crazy, then Amos and Asol will become stronger. So just keep that in mind just to contextualize. But at the time of making this video, this is where I stand on it. Anyways, hope this is helpful to you guys. And I love you all. And I love TFT. I heckin' love this patch. I hope it stays fun. I'm sure something degen will get discovered, but we'll see. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later.